The empty driveway hit me like a punch to the gut. I stood there at 6 a.m., keys in hand, staring at the oil stain where my Honda Civic should have been. The car I'd saved for since I was 14. The car I'd bought with 3 years of weekend shifts at the bakery, summer jobs, and every birthday dollar hoarded like gold. Gone. My first thought was that it had been stolen. My second thought was worse. I knew exactly where it was. I found the bill of sale on the kitchen counter, right next to a receipt from Gaming Paradise for $3,847. My car, which I'd bought for $4,000 and spent another $1,000 fixing up, sold for exactly the price of my brother Cameron's new setup. The signature at the bottom was my father's, but the car had been in my name. "Morning, sweetie," Mom said, walking in with her coffee like she hadn't just been an accomplice to Grand Theft Auto. "Better hurry or you'll miss the bus." "Where's my car?" "Oh, that." She didn't even look up from her phone. "We sold it yesterday while you were at work." Cameron needed a proper gaming system for his streaming career. "You sold him my car?" "The one I paid for." Dad appeared in the doorway, already dressed for work in the suit he drove to in his BMW. "Boys need investments, girls need buses," he said like he was quoting scripture. "Cameron has potential to make real money with gaming. You waiting tables isn't a career." "I'm not waiting tables. I'm saving for college while working as a shift supervisor." And that was MY car. An MY name. "That's theft." Mom laughed. Actually laughed. "Theft? From family? Don't be dramatic. Walking builds character you lack. Maybe if you spent less time driving around and more time finding a husband, you wouldn't need a car." "I'm 19. I was married at 20, she shot back. "With your looks, you need to start early." I turned to see Cameron coming downstairs, yawning. My younger brother, 17 years old, who'd never worked a day in his life and spent his time playing video games and calling it practice for going pro. "Thanks for the upgrade, sis," he said, smirking. "My followers are going to love the new setup. Maybe I'll shout you out sometime." He had 47 followers. I'd checked. "That was my car," I said, my voice deadly quiet. He shrugged. "Was. Now it's my ticket to fame. Don't worry, when I'm making millions, maybe I'll buy you a bike." Something inside me snapped. Not broke, snapped into place. Like a puzzle piece finally finding where it belonged. I looked at my family, these people who'd taken my work, my savings, my independence, and sold it for gaming equipment, and I realized something. They'd just taught me the most valuable lesson of my life. That family could rob you and call it love. That being their daughter meant being their resource. Fine. If they wanted to play games, I'd show them how a real player strategizes. "Okay," I said. They all looked surprised. They'd expected tears, anger, maybe begging. Not calm acceptance. "Okay," Mom echoed. "You're right. Boys need investments. And I need to build character. The bus it is." I went to my room and started planning. Not revenge. Revenge is emotional. This was going to be justice. Cold, calculated, and served with a side of consequences they'd never see coming. First, I needed evidence. The bill of sale was a good start, but I needed more. I took photos of everything, the receipt, the forged signature. I'd never given permission to sell. Cameron's new setup, even Dad's BMW and Mom's Mercedes in the garage while they told me to take the bus. Then I went to work. Not just my regular shift at the restaurant, but the real work. See, what my family didn't know was that I wasn't just a shift supervisor. I'd been promoted to assistant manager a month ago, with a salary that would have surprised them. I'd been saving that information for when I moved out, but plans change. They also didn't know about my side business. The one where I did social media management for local businesses, including the very gaming store where they'd spent my car money. Mr. Chun, the owner, was horrified when I explained the situation. "They sold your car without permission? That's fraud," he said. "I can void the sale, return the money." "No," I said. "Keep the receipt safe. I'll need it later. But I have a better idea." Cameron wanted to be a streamer? I'd help him. Just not the way he expected. I created accounts on every platform, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. Not in my name. In his. Cameron the Scammer, with profile pictures of his actual face pulled from his Instagram. Then I started posting. The first video was simple. How I got my gaming setup. My parents stole my sister's car. Complete with receipts, literally. The bill of sale. The forged signature. Screenshots of my bank statements showing how I'd saved for the car. Even security footage from Mr. Chen's store showing my parents haggling over the price while Cameron picked out the most expensive equipment. It went viral overnight. Not massive viral, but local viral. The kind where everyone in our town saw it. Where kids from Cameron's school started sharing it. Where the comments filled with, "Bro really let his parents steal from his sister for a gaming chair? Skull. The entitlement is insane. This is why everyone hates gaming bros. Imagine being proud of this." Cameron woke up to find himself internet famous, just not how he'd imagined. His 47 followers became 5,000 hate watchers overnight. His Instagram was flooded with car emojis and comments about theft. His first real stream had thousands of viewers, all spamming CR thief in chat. But that was just the opening move. Phase 2 involved the legal system. I filed a police report for the stolen vehicle. My parents had forged my signature on a legal document and sold my property without consent. That's fraud, theft, and forgery. The detective who took my case was a woman who'd clearly seen this before. "Parents think they own their kids' stuff," she said. "They don't. You're over 18, the car was in your name, and they committed multiple crimes. Do you want to press charges? I want my car back or the money. Then we'll see about charges." The police visit to my parents' house was, according to our neighbor Mrs. Park, spectacular. Dad tried to explain that family doesn't steal from family, while the officer explained that the law doesn't care about your relationship to your victim. They had 72 hours to return the car or the money, or face arrest. The family meeting that night was tense. I sat across from them, sipping tea while they raged. "You called the police? On your parents?" Mom shrieked. "You committed fraud," I replied. "What did you expect?" "We'll return the money," Dad said through gritted teeth. "But the gaming stuff stays. We're not returning Cameron's equipment. That's between you and the store. I just want my $4,000. Where will we get?" "Sell one of your cars," I suggested. "Or Cameron can get a job. Build character. Boys need jobs, right?" Cameron slammed his fist on the table. "This is ruining my life. No one will watch my streams without thinking I'm a thief." "You are a thief," I pointed out. "You received stolen goods and bragged about it. Own it or change it, but don't blame me for your choices." They paid me back by selling Mom's jewelry. The investment fund she'd been building for Cameron's future. Watching her hand over her tennis bracelet for cash was poetic justice. But I wasn't done. Phase 3 was the long game. I used the returned money to buy a better car. Used but reliable. Then I very publicly announced I was saving for college. Specifically, a degree in cybersecurity and digital forensics. I made sure they knew I was learning about computer systems, how to track digital footprints, how to recover deleted data. Cameron's paranoia was immediate. "She's threatening me," he told our parents. "She's going to hack my stuff." "I'm getting an education," I corrected. "But if you have things on your computer you're worried about, maybe examine why." The house became a Cold War. They couldn't kick me out. I documented every threat, every stolen penny, every moment of financial abuse. One wrong move and I'd press charges for the car theft. But they also couldn't control me anymore. I worked, I saved, I studied. And I waited. The beauty of entitled people is they always assume they're smarter than everyone else. Cameron, convinced his streaming career was just one viral moment away, started taking shortcuts. Buying followers. Using bots. Stealing content from smaller creators. I didn't report him. I just kept records. Every purchased follower. Every plagiarized video. Every terms of service violation. A folder labeled, just in case, that grew larger every week. Mom started her own punishment without my help. Without her jewelry, her status at the country club dropped. The other moms whispered about the police visit, the family drama, the son who lived at home playing games while his sister worked 2 jobs. Dad's reputation at work took a hit when Cameron, desperate for viewers, started streaming during the day, and the noise complaints from neighbors reached his boss. Family troubles at home became, maybe we need someone more focused for this promotion. 6 months after they sold my car, I moved out. Not dramatically, not with a big fight. Just quietly packed my things and left for the apartment I'd been secretly renting for a month. I left a note. Took the bus to my new place. "Thanks for building my character. It taught me I don't need you." The meltdown was predictable. Calls, texts, demands to return home. Cameron needed rides to his part-time job. Finally forced to work after his streaming career netted him $3.50 in 6 months. Mom needed someone to blame for her social downfall. Dad needed proof that he was still in control. I blocked them all and focused on my life. Graduated with honors. Got recruited by a tech company that loved my story of overcoming family theft through digital forensics. Moved across the country for a job that paid more than both my parents combined. The last I heard from my cousin, Cameron was still living at home at 25, working retail and blaming everyone else for his failed streaming career. My parents downsized after Dad lost his job, something about lack of leadership qualities and poor judgment. Mom works part-time now, probably telling everyone how her ungrateful daughter abandoned them. And me? I drive a Tesla now. Bought it cash after my first promotion. Sometimes I think about that morning, standing in the empty driveway, being told that girls need buses. They were right about one thing. I did need that bus. It took me away from them and toward a life where my worth wasn't measured in how much I could sacrifice for someone else's dreams. They sold my car for a gaming setup. In return, I gained my freedom, a career, and the knowledge that the best investment isn't in boys or girls. It's in yourself. And that's a game where I'll always be the winner.